Hail, hail, hail the Kumkumasa. We the Cameroonians, we pledge our loyalty. Kumkumasa, Kumkumasa, you shall free our country from terror. And your blessing shall be like the stars above. The Most High God shall be your guide.
Taxi colors.
My country people them. Today, na number 25 day for June 2024, and in the past few days, all man dey scream Ayabacho name because of this policy for change the taxi color from yellow to blue and white inside Bamenda. But the truth, the reality, na say Ayabacho no first even know who start this idea. Now me, I come up with this idea and this policy for change the color for taxi inside Bamenda. Ayabacho go explain more. Wanna listen?
First, I want to put the facts straight. I also learned, like most of you, of this ban. It was announced, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Who makes these decisions in our land without even letting me know? And so the forces in Mezam had met and made this decision. And I basically told them, listen, you don't make these monumental decisions without consulting with my office. And I moved into the stage of understanding it, and I provided clarity, because there is yellow in the flag of La République. Then taxi color of yellow might be synonymous to that. So I had to provide some clarity to our forces. And I provided advice. One of the things I stated, and I've said this to the AGOVC, once the decision is out, I am not going to reverse the decision. Let me be absolutely clear. I will not reverse the decision. One of the things I will not do is to undermine a decision with good intent. A taxi can be painted white, it can be painted blue. You can also paint blue and white. It's an act of resistance.
So Ayabacho don't confess for una. Say he no even know who come up with this idea, because it talks say after they be don't publish the idea and the policy, he hear na hear, he learn just like other people they learn about this policy. And then they ask him say what? Now who they come up with this kind of ideas the way they not even pass through your office, where they not even consult he. So now the truth that Ayabacho no even get any idea about this policy until after it was published and announced by the ambassador terrorists on the ground. I will give una more analysis then, but before I continue, I want to bring in Martin Tumasang, make it can corroborate what the way Ayabacho they talk. It will explain for una the genesis and the beginning of this whole concept for change the taxi colors them. Una listen.
Comrade Chris, before I get into the thing, it's better to just give you a background of this taxi issue. Some time ago, I had a phone call from Amber Newsline. He said fighters have had a meeting. They contacted him that he should announce the ban of taxis from 1st of June. So I asked that this thing you are asking like this is, we are talking like this. These guys in diaspora, if it is coming from the ground, they will think that it is a policy decision. Their powers are being usurped. Fighters are going now independent, and they will fight it tooth and nail. I asked that, should I take the policy, tell Chris Anu to announce it so that it should be as if it's coming from diaspora to try to cool down the resistance? He said no. If I give it to Chris Anu, Sako people will fight tooth and nail. So it's better it should, the fighters are the one who decided it, let them be the ones to do it. So I asked that, does Ayaba know about it, because Ayaba too is very active in Mezam. He says, no. He's not yet told Ayaba that if you bring ADF near this thing, everybody will take their fight on ADF and put it on this thing. Your monologue there talking about this ADF, this thing had nothing to do with ADF. Ayaba was only told at the end, and he kind of, I think, endorsed it. He knew nothing about this. Ayaba, first of all, these guys who are breaking taxis, the ban starts on 1st of July. So you have some rogue guy drinks his beer and doing whatever he's doing. It's not even part of the policy. It's not even ADF. We know what ADF is doing in Mezam. This taxi thing had nothing to do with them. That's just the background. I'm giving you the background because I was there from the beginning. They contacted me to get my opinion on this thing, and I was saying that this thing coming from the ground, it would turn into a power play, and it has turned into a power play. I said they will use the suffering of our people like every black legs is using and everybody to fight this policy. If you see, everybody is talking about the suffering of our people. People who want to make omelets without breaking eggs, that is what they are trying to do. But let's go back now to the history. Every policy which has come from elsewhere, whether good or bad.
Comrade, hold on with the policy. Let's not talk policy first. Let's talk about the idea itself. Let the people change their taxi colors from yellow to white. Let's talk about that. Is that a good idea?
The idea is, Chris, the idea is the policy.
So when I don't hear Martin Tumasang explain for how they don't even want Ayabacho or ADF or get anything for do with this policy. Because if the BCM said this policy come out from the ground, the ones that they in the diaspora they go fight against, and also because of their own infighting, their own mistrust, and their own disunity, it make them easier for we now for penetrate them and for manipulate all of them. But now John Baakuru will explain even more. When I listen.
I don't talk for this platform plenty times. Say, La République du Cameroon, they ever operate in plain sight. They need the height. They get one strategy. They never ever change them. They continue to use the same strategy. The frustrating thing for here, now say now we decide for the same manipulations year in, year out. Every day, they use the same manipulation for take them face with. And will still end up the fall for the same trap with them set up. For 60 years, we're supposed to don't learn sense. For 42, getting to 43 years of Paul Biya, we're supposed to don't learn sense.
When I hear John Baakuru be right, we not get two strategies then. We dey here for destroy Ambazonia terrorism by any means necessary. And we don't tell them exactly which way we need for Duam, and then we go ahead for Duam, and every single time we still succeed. What does that tell you? It explains for now how stupid, how gullible, how inept, and how disunited these bunch of idiots, where they call themselves Ambazonians, they be. Would they use the same trick, the same strategy, over and over and over against them, and every single time it work. Every single time it work, we manipulate them and we play them like tabala. But for continue, I want now make una listen to where Chris Anu go talk about Ayabacho and this policy for taxi colors. Una listen.
Drivers and civilians alike must resist any attempts by the ADF to bully them or force them to this senseless change. Wherever these fighters appear and attempt to carry out such brutality, the people must stand together, report them or hand them over, offer them up for capture. Every civilian in Bamenda in particular must rise against anything ADF until they are entirely eradicated. The ADF's actions this week have only served to weaken our cause and inflict unnecessary suffering on innocent civilians, our own people. They will not be recognized as comrades in arms. They will be recognized as enemies. For now, they are enemies to the Ambazonian struggle, enemies to our peace, and enemies to the progress of the struggle. It has long been a well-known idea that the ADF and the AGOVC want to seek to project themselves as having some control over Bamenda. It may be a good idea. However, how about first and foremost expelling the invading La République du Cameroon soldiers before even contemplating such a claim. How about avoiding or protecting civilians, our own people, from that ego? Until they begin to fight La République du Cameroon and put the peace and the security of our own people first, all they do is mere vanity, empty bravado, and grandstanding. That is my monologue for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
So when I don't hear, no be me I talk am. Chris Anu talk say the ADF it be now the enemies that must be eliminated. This is the infighting, the mistrust where I dey talk about. It be so easy for manipulate these people them because they already get that disunity amongst them. Now, why it talk say they must eliminate the ADF? Why it not just go dialogue and negotiate with them? Why it not just pick your phone, a call Ayabacho a number, they resolve this whole issue? Now, the same people in this way they talk say they need for dialogue and negotiate with Cameroon government, but they declare the ADF as their enemy, and the solution now for eliminate the ADF. So the Cameroon government copy their examples, use their strategies, them eliminate Ambazonia terrorism, eliminate it. There are no two ways. Now, why that way they talk say we need to study our enemies, use their strategies against them. It no talk say me they go dialogue with Ayabacho. It talk say Ayabacho and the ADF na enemies that must be eliminated. And me I tell we the Cameroon government and we the Anglophones them say Ambazonia terrorists are the enemies of Anglophones that must be eliminated. No dialogue, no negotiation. We must crush them like how Chris Anu Ebi talk against the ADF for 2020.
They will be crushed. This, what happened in Bui, should send a message to the ADF and the AGOVC that this interim government would no longer sit down to negotiate with you out there.
Now, I go play this Capo Dadeli a video. It go explain for una one or two things them. The first point, now how easy it be for we to manipulate them. Because themselves over the day for diaspora, they don't get control over the kingdom. And this point for this Capo Daniele video, now also for make una understand say, because these people did not get control over the terrorists on the ground, why would you want to go and dialogue with them and negotiate with them in Canada, Switzerland, or whatever? Why? To achieve what? At the end of the day, Ayabacho no fit ask the ADF for drop their guns and they drop them. All the terrorists where they in the bush today for 2024, they are fighting for survival. Now a kidnapping for ransom business. Now business where they do them. They don't get no cause. They don't get nothing for do with liberation or whatever. All of them. Maybe for 2020, 2018, they will get some command and control over the terrorism on the ground. But today, there is a total and complete disconnect between the diaspora and the terrorists where they carry the guns on the ground. And why that when I hear Martin Tumasang he explain for una say this policy it come out now from the terrorism for Mezam, and they will go to extra length for make sure say make the diaspora not get nothing or any input about this particular policy for taxi color change. And I will explain more my country people. So make I play this Capo Daniele video. When I listen.
All the political leaders them where they stand for push the diplomacy for Ambazonia, whether na activists, whether na organizations, who need to know the truth of which way it happen. No faction, get any command and control over any soldier or any group for ground zero. All the groups then be owned personally by the general and for that group where they take the decision, how they take them. The leader, the way they for diaspora, then get not only influence to an extent, according to how that general allowed them for use them. Now a check with the gam, you get a person for diaspora where they talk for you, it give you that justification for carry out activity them. And the soldier them, they align with the leader them according to the leader, their character. If you been a thief man, every thief soldier them they go align with you. If you been an illiterate soldier, you go find person two way na illiterate. Or it depend on your person where you for diaspora. If you get some man where you for diaspora, where you know some soldier very personally, then trust you, then they align with you. How can we be able to push a political agenda that can lead to independence if we are organized in this manner?
Now in that Capo Danedo explain them, I don't even need to explain any further. They don't get command and control over the terrorists on the ground. He did talk as person will be being at the so-called deputy defense chief for the Ambazonian terrorist organization ADF. He be being at the spokesperson for the so-called EGOFC or whatever nonsense. So he be in the inner circle and he did tell una say they not get control over the picking them on the ground. It also begs the question again, once more, why then would you go to dialogue with Ayabacho, Chris Anusako, Tapang Ivo, or Capo Daniel and the rest? Why? To achieve what? The people they want to need for talk to, now the ones where they carry the guns in the bushes. If they know here, we'll kill them to them. That is the only solution. So the next question where you go ask me and say, but countryman, if now you be come up with this idea, why na Ayabacho in name all man the singam? Why Ayabacho to take ownership for this policy where he no get anything to do with the policy? The answer is simple. Desperation. The whole of the so-called Ambazonia so-called movement or revolution is they in a very desperate position where we don't put them in because we don't totally defeat them. When I don't see in the past few months how we don't decimate the so-called mother base for ADF inside AY for Ashong, Batibode for Guzang and all of those areas. Since 2024, we don't kill Ambazuna terrorists. We don't take away the leverage where Ayabachobi get them for free talk. So now, the few ones where they remain inside Batibode run. The day now they hang around for Mankonde, for Ntaturu, for back travelers, for all of those areas inside Mezam. And the need for survive, the need for chop, they need money. So they do now they're kidnapping for ransom business. Many of them, they high on drugs, now drug addicts them. So they don't even deny them, say they not be part of the ADF anymore. And Ayabacho desperately need that leverage. It desperately need that endorsement. Say it get forces on the ground. And because they don't kill the biggest person will be to give you that name, a fang big number, it desperately want for remain relevant. So now it could endorse anything where the Pekin they come up with in order for make that Pekin they now they also endorse it. So when Ayabacho be hear about this policy, it climb on top, take ownership of the policy now so that anything will happen on the ground now, it would be like say it get forces on the ground, it get picking them on the ground where they listen to ye and ye command them. Now empty noise, now desperate times, as Chris Anu go explain.
Desperate moments require desperate measures, and we are truly desperate.
And now I know say when our next question Egubina say, but countryman, how you be able for succeed for manipulate all of these people, them doctor, this doctor, that? How was it possible? It was actually very easy. It be start since for April 2023.
This message now for the authorities inside Bamenda, I'm people them are large, more reason now. When I be talk say at my own take, my own opinion, for we for eradicate Amber out of Bamenda, we need to ban Okada. And then be talk about that for my mom. I understand that statement, many people they vex. So I say be their enemy, that don't concern me.
When I remember that video, no, na April 2023, Dr. Contiman Jr., Oka Nasri Clovis, my spokesperson, if you come out there, he make a live broadcast calling for the banning of Okada circulation in the whole of Mezam, in the whole of Bamenda. At that time, when I not be know which way we work on, but we be understand. Say if they stop the circulation of Okada inside Bamenda, it go frustrate the Ambazona terrorism business of kidnapping for ransom. And when we frustrate them, what they go try for do? They go try for ban taxi them as well because they don't get the powers for force Okada make they circulate. Themselves where they ride Okada, they no go come out outside for ride Okada for the time where they don't ban Okada, say make it no worker. So the only thing where they fit do now for threaten taxi drivers them, cause commotion, punish the Anglophone civilians them in a desperate attempt for make the SDO a reverse the ban of Okada. So we understood that now why that will be the call for the ban of circulation of Okada because it will reduce kidnapping for ransom and it will stop Ambazona terrorist atrocities them and it will force them for do something stupid as usual.
Today, we at the number second day inside the month of December 2023. I just want to talk due to the situation where it did honor for Bamenda, the SDO of Mezam, where it don't finally ban the motorcycle that is Okada circulation. I want to just use this opportunity to thank the SDO for Mezam, with that fantastic job wey e don finally realize and e don finally see the reality for say people like we don dey cry, we don dey advocate for that, we don dey tell for all those things dem say the whole thing for save the life of our people na for ban the circulation of motorcycle, that is Okada. So I wan just use, due to the attack for this Nigeria that's actor Sylvester Maju. From there, the authority there for Bamenda, the SDO for inside maize, and finally ban the circulation of Okada for Bamenda. So I thank you very much.
So as we don't hear Capo Daniel explain for una say, the so-called Amazonians in the diaspora, they don't get command and control over the armed terrorists on the ground. All where them get them, now a certain degree of influence. Guess what? I also have a very huge amount of influence over the Amba terrorists where they carry guns on the ground. Yes. So we went to work. For December 2023, after the SDO banned the circulation of Okada in certain parts of Mezam, we go for work. We start to inject the idea for the Amba terrorists, say, made them also ban the circulation of taxi them, because that's what we wanted them to do. Surprise, surprise, they no ban them. So what will happen, I say, they continue for the commit atrocities them. They continue for the do kidnapping for ransom around those times them way the SDO it be allow Okada them for circulate town. So a few weeks ago, they go throw a grenade inside bar where people they will drink mimbo for they kill one or two people them, and then they injure dozens of other people inside Bamenda. They force the SDO once again for hold a security meeting. At the end of the meeting, they decide to give a blanket ban all over Mezam, all over Bamenda 1, Bamenda 2, and 3 subdivisions. Them they ban Okada circulation between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. So that one now it be been at the final straw. The amber should know why blast them. They be need for react. But what could they do? They don't get any idea waiting for do them because they don't try them before for ban the circulation of taxi them. It not really work well for them side for their side. So now in the meantime, we get the influence over the terrorists. So we get the ability for communicate with the armed terrorists where they carry guns on the ground. So what way we do now? We inject the idea for their head. Say make they change the taxi colors because yellow na color for Cameroon flag. Say all man in the waka inside Bamenda it dey fly Cameroon flag, green, red, yellow. That yellow color na Cameroon flag. All man, even the amber, they say they enter inside taxi where they fly Cameroon flag. So how una think say when they fight independence way, una no fit even waka inside una chief town where una no dey carry Cameroon flag the waka out. So I inject that idea in a subliminal way. Those beginning now they start to digest the idea, say no, this idea for a color is no fine because na Cameroon flag. Behold, to my greatest surprise, I swear to God, I know we know say go work because we don't try to make a made a ban the circulation of taxi them through and through since December 2023. It no work. But by June, actually May 2024, behold, that idea is stick. Out of sheer desperation, out of frustration, say they don't fit do their kidnapping for ransom anymore. And because they don't try for ban taxi them before and it not be really work well for their side. So now they come up with this idea. Finally, now they take on that idea with me. I don't inject them for their ear in the background because we talk to them on Facebook, WhatsApp, social media. We talk to them. Now, Facebook country, any person will get internet connection, you fit influence the shit, nobody blast them. They dull very badly. They're stupid picking them. Very dull. So we inject the idea for their head now, they buy the idea. Now they don't want the diaspora to get involved in the idea because the whole point of that idea for taxi color change, now a stupid way where they think say they go intimidate the population for Bamenda, frustrate people their lives, and then now they go make an SDO go sorry the population because the population will run go complain for SDO, and then SDO go sorry them, and then it go uplift the ban for the Okada circulation. And when they uplift the ban for circulation of Okada, then it will give them now the green light for continue their criminal activity, kidnapping people for ransom. So that is the whole point. That is the whole idea, and that is how one individual sitting in my parlor with my short trouser and manipulate all of these idiots, the way they call themselves doctor, this, that, this, Now they are knocking their heads about. Are they here? Are they laugh me? That is the true Ambazonia shit no blast terrorism. Now wonder foolish international idiots. Now people in this way they talk say they want to run a whole country. They want to be president of Anglophones. If one individual effortlessly using a phone and internet connection, I think manipulate these idiots, then imagine what way a sovereign state like the United Kingdom, like the United States, it could do if this kind of thing compoops them. They be at the helm of a government or a country. Imagine, say, these kind of idiots, Ayabacho them, Chris Anu them, Capo Daniel them.
Taxi colors. I know everybody's screaming. Everybody is uncertain. There are others who are attacking. The weaver birds are on the top of trees and they are screaming. First, I want to put the facts straight. I also learned, like most of you, of this ban. It was announced, and I was like, "What the hell is going on? Who makes these decisions in our land without even letting me know?" And so the forces in Mezam had met and made this decision. And I basically told them, "Listen, you don't make these monumental decisions without consulting with my office."
Imagine saying at them, they've been a president or they lead a country. It would be a total, complete, and unmitigated disaster. So, going back to the point where I make this presentation, I say, wait, don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy. Say you want to go for Canada or for Switzerland for go dialogue or negotiate with the Ayabacho, them, Sako Ikome, them, Capo Daniel, them, and all of these rambling idiots. They are inconsequential. Even the armed bandits where they carry guns on the ground do not listen to them anymore. If not listen keenly, the very first video where they come out, they start destroy taxi them for Bamenda, they call themselves waiting Mezam Unity Warriors because they no want bear the name ADF. They don't listen to Ayabacho anymore. So why you want to go talk to Ayabacho? He no even get the powers for tell that Pekin and say me they drop their guns. He no get that power. He no get the leverage. He no get the influence. Me, I get more influence over the Amba terrorists more than Ayabacho. That is a fact. And I don't demonstrate them for Una with this particular policy for change the color for taxi from yellow to blue and white. Now me, I manipulate them, inject the idea for their head, knock their heads around. They go run around, they make a fool of themselves, destroy people that taxi them, make stupid Facebook live videos them. This one come out crush this one come out crush the other one. I did that effortlessly. Effortlessly. Look at them now. Bunch of idiots. At the end of the day, when I need for understand, say, we need to just do these things them for see people then suffer. We did do them because we get an agenda. The agenda is simple. If we now look at my logo, it talks about it, destroying Ambazonia terrorism. Everything where we did do them, it be in line with our goal for destroy Ambazonia terrorism. When we cause infighting amongst them, when we cause them for knock their heads around, when we cause mistrust and division amongst the Amba terrorists, we cause them for kill each other, we cause them for antagonize the population turn against them, it could destroy Ambazonia terrorism quicker.
Taxi color change. We need the ask now. You do anyhow, you see anyhow. We don't say taxi color change, remain taxi color change. Nothing will distract me. Yes, we know this game where you do one player who beat past that game. Who beat past that game. When I come here, Ambazonians already beat this step, make the camera explain for them which they happen. As we don't put this taxi color ban way, it don't shut down Bamenda for the time when I don't see what they happen, when I don't see the game changing, when I don't see the tension and the shaking way there for ground.
So for summarize this presentation, when I don't hear from Martin Tumasang and Ayabacho Isasef Itok, say the ADF it never get nothing for do with this taxi color change for Bamenda. When I don't also hear Christopher Anu talk, when I hear Clovis, Okana Seri talk, when I hear other people, them Capo Daniel and the rest, they don't give una their own input. It will be so easy for me, an individual, one person, for manipulate all of these idiots because they be divided, because they be incompetent and inept, because they've been a wonder foolish international idiots. And now, since where they don't already go endorse the policy for change the color for taxi, it be now impossible for them for try for reverse them because they go carry shame. And now why that way they still string along with the policy, knowing fully well say all man it don't reject them. Just like how they be come up with the idea for change the ID cards, they start cut people the ID card, this one too it could die a natural death. But shame it could do them for can't admit them say, me, one person, I don't manipulate all of them and make a fool of them.
Lesson number one, my country people, Dr. Weti. Listen, whether or not you accept my country people is a force to reckon with. Me, I agree. He's an enemy that is strong. So, Ambazonians will thank my country people for the wonderful job. Now, we'll go ahead.
So I hope so when I don't see how I don't demonstrate the incompetence, the ineptitude, and the stupidity of the Anglophones, the way they call themselves Ambazonians. Now, why that way the British, they will look at this territory and they talk say it not be viable for be independent since the 1950s. Today for 2024, would they prove them right? My country people them. These kind caricatures, they not be able for manage their own affairs inside their own houses, let alone for run a country. For say make they give this kind of fools them independence, it would be the stupidest idea where it don't ever arrive for any person in the brain. Now, Anglophones they need to come together and solve their own problems. We don't demonstrate them to una. Say the international community no get time for una stupidity and self-inflicted destruction. We don't demonstrate them to una. Say one person, if he manipulate these kind of fools, the way they call themselves doctor this, doctor that, say they be Anglophone leaders. They want for run a country. We don't demonstrate for una. Say una get the knife and the yam on the ground. If una want for continue for the suffer, una go continue for the suffer. But if una want for stop the suffering inside Bamenda, inside the Anglophone zone, una get the knife and the yam and the ball is in your court. Ambazona terrorists, they need for be destroyed. The terrorism idea, it need for be destroyed. Because right now, there is no cause. Right now, there is no cause. Not just fighting for survival, not just criminality, not just bandits and drug addicts where they find their money for survive. And there is a huge disconnect between the terrorists where they carry the guns on the ground and the ones where they do for Facebook where they call themselves leaders and presidents and whatnot. There is a huge disconnect. So the Anglophone population need to come serious. They need to come together. We need an Anglophone conference in order for Anglophones them for genuinely diagnose and come up with solutions for resolve the Anglophone problem as we call them. Failure to do that, we go continue for the experience this kind of nonsense. Any person will get Android phone and internet connection if it manipulate Anglophones them because of our disunity. So we need to come together. We need to have policies and we need to respect best practice system. We need forget sense. And the last and most important point I want for make now this point for people the way they want to go dialogue and negotiate with the terrorists and the caricatures the way they did for Diaspora. Do not waste your time. The dynamic on the ground, it don't prove for una. Say the terrorists where they carry the guns inside Bamenda, in the Anglophone zone, they know they take orders from the Ayabacho noisemakers and the weaver birds on Facebook. Ayabacho are the biggest weaver bird of them all. Now noisemakers them. They not get no real direct command and control over the picking them on the ground. They get only a certain degree of influence. And that influence, me, I don't prove them for una. Say me too, I get influence over the terrorists. So any person will get Android phone and internet connection if it also influence the terrorists because the only day for them are for make their money. So no waste your time for thinking about dialogue, negotiation for Canada, whatever, all that one and noise. Now waste of time.